Hello, I'm Bob Judy, and I'm here to talk to you about my brother Herman. He died in Vietnam in 1969. He liked to hunt, he liked to fish, he liked music. He was good at all of them. And when he went to Vietnam, there was over 50 people writing him letters. One thing that he really loved, and he liked a 1940 Ford. That was his favorite car in the world. And I sent him a letter one time, and I saw a 1940 Ford pickup for sale. He was all excited. He was thinking about putting a small block Ford in it and getting like a leather interior, really fixing it up nice so his wife could drive it and have, be a good little project. That was the last letter I got. Life magazine did a story, and they took all the pictures of 1 week's Americans dead from Vietnam. And the week my brother died is the week they chose. That week had 242 Americans in it. And this is a copy of it. And my brother's picture is on page 31. And believe it or not, there was another person from my hometown that was actually killed that same day, or that same week. The last thing I'd like to say is my brother's birthday was February 19th. Well, 2 years ago, I was getting gas at a little country store in Parrish. It's got a store, and there's like one island of gas pumps, and then I had my truck there. And I'm just pumping away, and I knew what day it was. And I heard a motor of a hot rod. And I looked up, and a 1940 Ford pickup truck pulled off 675. Drove between the gas pumps and the country store and drove right on out. And it was yellow, it had red flames, it had big tires and chrome wheels, and it really looked good. And I just kind of smiled, and I thought that God must love car guys, because it took my brother over 40 years to build his little pickup truck. But we do miss him. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Moore, and this is my mom, Yvonne Edwards. And my dad was Sergeant William Alton Hyman. He passed away in Vietnam on July 10th, 1969. I was born June 30th, 1969, which is, he passed away 10 days after I was born. So my mom is going to share a little bit about my dad and how he came to serve in the U.S. Army.
Bill and I met my senior year in high school, which was in 1966, and we had just moved into his neighborhood, and so my siblings and I was out in the area checking it out, and he saw us, and he popped off the school bus and came over and introduced himself. So that's pretty much how the relationship began. We was really good friends, and 2 years after that we were married. And a few months after that, he was drafted into the U.S. Army. And it's really ironic because at that time, he could have chosen not to go. But instead, Bill being Bill decided, no, I'm going to go. So he went off to Vietnam. And a couple of months after he left for Vietnam, I wrote him a letter and told him that I was expecting Yolanda. And that's how he found out the news. Through the mail, and he was one of those kind of guys. I hear from him almost every day. Got a letter from him, and like Yolanda said, she was born June 1969, and 10 days after that, as most of you know, in the military, when something happens, they always send somebody out. Well, that morning they came out to tell me that he was missing. And my older brother, who has served as well, said to me, sis, they don't just come to tell you that somebody's missing. They don't just do that. He said, prepare yourself for the worst. And it was like, okay, this is my big brother talking. And so I figured he knew what he was talking about. And it was kind of really, really bad because, like I said, she was just 10 days old. So sure enough, I want to say it was that late that afternoon, which was a Sunday. They did come back out, and they told us that he had been killed. He had volunteered to walk a minefield, and he hit an explosive. and that's what killed him. But when they brought him home, we were able to identify him by a scar that he had on his lip. That's how we knew it was Bill. And that's pretty much how that story not really ended, because Yolanda, as she grew, she looks a lot like her dad, especially his height. And I always said that her nose was a lot like his as well. And so she's pretty much a lot like her dad. She's, especially with her voice. To me, Yolanda has the voice of an angel, which is her dad's voice. And that's our story.
I don't feel like the story ends there. I believe God had a plan. Always, God has a plan. And although I never knew my dad, I am so grateful that in that plan, my mom remarried, and I have 3 sisters who I love. And so I'm just grateful for his service and what that means to me and what that means to my family. And you know, God has a plan, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you.